Have you heard of the concept of tan maxing? For those of you who haven't, it's an idea that's gained a ton of popularity online, mostly among women in their 20s. Tan maxing is exactly what it sounds like, treating a tan as something to be fully optimized. In practice, it means going out deliberately in the middle of the day when the UV index is highest, using oils and accelerators instead of sunscreen on the theory that sunscreen blocks the tan. But how did we get here? So I've been in San Diego the last little bit, and while I do enjoy just lounging around for hours at the beach, it did have me wondering, why do we tan in the first place? And how did we start optimizing for it? Well, to answer this, we of course need to go back to the work of American sociologist Thorstein Veblen and his 1899 text, The Theory of the Leisure Class. Veblen's premise is that labor in the productive sense is dishonorable and contaminated by the regular people who perform it. Status, in his view, consists in demonstrating conspicuous abstention from labor. During his time, being pale signified status because the poor worked outside and became tan. To be genuinely pale required active and continuous, and importantly, expensive protection. But at what point did this invert? When did becoming tan actually come into fashion? Well, for that, we of course have Coco Chanel today. Kind of. The myth goes a little like this. In the 1920s, the Mediterranean coast was a place people left in April, and summer in the French Riviera was for locals and fishermen, much different than the aristocratic crowd that flocked in the winter. But in the winter of 1923, in comes a 40-year-old Coco Chanel. She's in Monte Carlo and had just spent a few weeks on a yacht with the Duke of Westminster. The legend is in her return though, which in front of a group of photographers on the quay in Cannes, Chanel steps off and comes ashore with a deep brown tan. The pictures hit the magazines, and within a decade, the narrative around tanning had flipped. But how does this translate to the modern-day concept of tan maxing? Well, remember Veblen and how in the 1900s, being pale signified that you were exempt from labor? His point was never that being pale was honorable, but rather that the honorable sign is whatever the working majority cannot possess. In an economy of agriculture, the sun falls on everyone who works. Being tan is the majority condition, and being kept from the sun was the rare and expensive state. But remember Chanel? 1923, she steps off that yacht. The timing is impeccable because along with that moment, work began to predominantly happen indoors. And as such, the tan becomes fashionable. Being tan is no longer something that happens to you while working, but rather what you must leave work to obtain. And that's why tan maxing is as much a question of status as it is optimization, because it fixates on peak UV hours, noon to 4, the middle of the working day. It's a claim that you have autonomy over your time and that you decide where your body is at 2 in the afternoon. In a future video, I want to talk about how spray tans and self-tanner make this conversation more complicated. So if you want that, please like and follow, and let me know your thoughts in the comments.